It also mentions here in the next paragraph, it says, it's not just that Linda maintains her complete innocence and truthfulness. UPS sort manager Dan Kelly vouched for her as well. And Dan's going to respond to this in just a second because it goes through the presentation, kind of talks about how the meeting went, and Linda was asked if she'd be fired if she didn't choose a different shift, and UPS labor manager Joe Brown stated, I didn't say that yet. I point blank asked Linda, you need to pick a shift, the twilight of the night, because Michelle had already picked preload. She goes, what, are you going to fire me? And I said, you need to tell me what sort you're going to work on. And then the next portion where it states, the company clearly acknowledged at that time that, right before that, it states that UPS day sort manager Dan Kelly clearly stated, I believe you, Linda. I want Dan to explain how this went down, because as Linda was explaining what she was saying, Dan did get up and say, Linda, I believe you. And I'll give you my interpretation, and then Dan will say exactly what it meant was that we were not saying that everything Linda was claiming was to be true. We just believed that she felt in her own mind that what she was saying was exactly what went down. Dan, go ahead and explain what you meant by saying that.
That is absolutely true. When Linda talks to me and she explains what's going on with Michelle Mullica, I believe her. I believe that she feels that those things that are taking place with Linda are real. They bother her. They cause her stress. These remarks that are made in the small sort, they legitimately bother Linda. I believe they do bother her. So when we were speaking to that, that's what I'm saying. Linda, I believe you. I don't think you're lying to me. I think this is really a legitimate concern. I know this petty stuff does bother you, and we have had those conversations, and I do believe that.
And the brief goes on to stay, and what it's doing is it's taking a play on words, saying, well, because Dan said, I believe you, Linda, that's not necessarily true, as Dan explained. We feel that Linda is saying exactly what she feels, but she forgets, the complaints against her, and it's automatically 100% innocent, as if that never took place.
On the next one, January 5th, that allegation there, in that meeting, Dan sided with her. Not slightly, not kind of, very explicitly, I believe you, Linda. So much so that I took a caucus to ask why we were even here in the first place, if the company believed everything that she had to say. The January 8th, where she wrote a 4-page complaint against Linda. Again, Dan Kelly vouched for Linda Bates' testimony unequivocally. Exhibit 6, another complaint filed by Linda against a coworker. Linda, at that meeting on January 14th, said they were all lying. This is the point where Dan Kelly said specifically, I believe you, Linda. So there is nothing in here. Dan Kelly, the sort manager that deals with this operation on a daily basis up until today, had an unequivocal belief of Linda Bates and what she's done, and has no time indicated that she has done anything to violate the policy. So again, that leaves us asking, why are we here today? Is there anything else you would like to say in rebuttal of the company's case?
I would like to say amen to that, because
We tried to get a workable solution.